Please be advised this podcast features AI cloned voices created with human oversight. All content is reviewed by experts for accuracy and relevance. Benvenuti a tutti. Welcome to the IADS Retail Park. I'm Maya, and today we're diving into one of retail's most fascinating transformations. And I'm excited because my co-host Salvan recently visited Milan and has some great insights to share. Ready to spill all the details? Let's get started.
Ciao Maya, it was such a great trip. There's something about Milan in December. The city's alive, buzzing with energy, and La Rinascente is right at the heart of it. They're about to embark on a 40 million euros transformation that's got everyone talking.
Wow, sounds like a great visit, with some big news too. There's just something special about Milan in December. And with La Rinascente breaking the 1 billion euro sales mark last year, it feels like they're really at a turning point. But you know, Salvan, before we get into all the future plans, I think it's important for our listeners to understand just how deep those roots go.
Yes, of course, that makes total sense. So let's begin. La Rinascente is more than a department store. It's a piece of Italian history. It all started back in 1865 with the Bocconi brothers and their little men's clothing shop. Fast forward a few years, and they're already looking to Paris for inspiration, bringing in fixed prices and letting customers actually try things on. It was pretty revolutionary for the time.
That's such a great point. It's easy to forget how those little innovations like fixed prices actually shaped modern retail. I love that they weren't afraid to experiment, even back then. And then, of course, comes the Borletti family and that legendary rebranding.
Oh yes, the Borlettis really knew how to make an entrance. They brought in the poet Gabriele D'Annunzio to rename the store, and he chose La Rinascente, meaning she who is born again. And then, almost on cue, the store burns down in 1918. But they rebuild, and that spirit of renewal just keeps coming back.
It's almost poetic, isn't it? The name, the fire, the rebirth. It's like something out of a novel. And I think that sense of resilience is still part of their DNA. But fast forward to today, Sylvain, how has that heritage influenced the modern La Rinascente?
You really feel that cool blend of old and new as soon as you step through the doors, Maya. Ever since Central Retail Corporation took charge in 2011, they've really taken the brand to a whole new level. The Milan flagship is now bringing in over half the group's sales, and the design approach is super interesting too. 20 different architects since 2017 have each added their own unique flair to every floor. It's like walking through a creative patchwork. And
That's so neat. I love the idea of each floor having its own personality. It keeps things fresh and unexpected. But I imagine it could also feel a bit disjointed at times, right? Did you find that, Sylvan?
for sure, it's interesting how some spots are really modern while others show their age a bit. It creates this wild ride of a vibe that can feel unpredictable at times, but honestly, it keeps you on your toes, which is exciting. CEO Pierluigi Cocchini even refers to it as a collection of department stores instead of just one big store, highlighting the diversity really well.
That's such a clever way to look at it. It's almost like you're getting a new experience with every escalator ride. But let's talk about your visit. What was the atmosphere like when you walked in?
The ground floor was absolutely buzzing, Maya. Dior Parfums had taken over the facade and windows for Christmas, and they even sponsored the Christmas tree in the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II. It was pure spectacle, but in a very Milanese way, elegant, but also a little over the top.
I love that. It sounds like they really know how to create a sense of occasion. And with over 8 million visitors a year, I guess they have to keep things exciting. But I'm curious, doesn't all that energy get overwhelming?
Surprisingly, no. The ground floor is compact, so it feels lively without being chaotic. And as you move up, each floor has its own distinct feeling. My personal favorite was the basement, the design supermarket. You've got Rimo luggage next to Sonos speakers, plants by the cafe, and design objects everywhere. It's a real mix, but it works.
That's such a different and quite unique approach, I might add. I imagine it makes shopping feel more like an adventure than a chore. And those brand adjacencies, Rimowa, next to Vitra and Bang and Olafsen, really tell a story about lifestyle, not just products. Did you notice if shoppers were engaging with those unexpected combinations?
Yes, I did. It was great to see people genuinely curious, taking the time to check out things they might not have noticed otherwise. Even the plants section added a nice oasis vibe to the basement. It's really all about those little moments of surprise that make the experience special.
That's very refreshing. And what about the upper floors? Any surprises there?
The mezzanine, designed by India Madhavi, was stunning but quieter than I expected. The men's floors are bright and airy thanks to some recent renovations, but sometimes that natural light makes it tricky to highlight products. The women's luxury floor is more cohesive, and the top levels have homeware, gourmet food, and a rooftop restaurant with a view that's worth the climb.
Sounds like there's something for everyone. But let's get to the big news, the Odeon project. Tell us about this ambitious transformation. What's happening with the Odeon cinema?
Maya, this is where it gets really exciting. They're turning the historic 3,000 square meter Odeon Cinema into what could be the biggest beauty destination in continental Europe. Over 300 brands in makeup, skincare, and fragrance will move there by mid 2027.
Wow, that's a massive expansion. And I guess moving beauty out of the main building frees up a lot of space, right?
Exactly. They'll double the luxury accessories and jewelry space on the ground floor to over 2,100 square meters. They're projecting beauty sales to jump from 50 million euros to 80 million euros in the first year, and luxury accessories could leap from 200 million euros to 370 million euros. The total investment is 40 million euros to 30 million euros for the Odeon, 10 million euros for the ground floor.
Those are some bold projections. But with Milan's luxury market booming, it makes sense. And with Via Montenapoli now, the world's most expensive retail street, they're right in the thick of it. But Selvan, what challenges do you think they'll face with such a big transformation?
The biggest challenge is making sure the experience feels seamless between the two buildings. Right now, the different architectural styles can feel a bit disconnected. Some areas are due for a refresh, especially the ground floor, and lighting, especially on the second floor, looks great for ambiance, but isn't always ideal for product display.
That's a good point. Creating a coherent experience across such different spaces isn't easy. And what about competition? Milan is home to some pretty fierce retail players.
For sure, Milan really loves its mono-brand boutiques. Multi-brand retailers like Ten Corso Como and Antonia have had to pivot or scale back, and Excelsior even closed its Milan location. La Rinacente's size and spot give it a unique edge, but they can't afford to get lazy.
It seems like they're walking a fine line balancing innovation with tradition and scale with intimacy. So, Sylvan, what do you think will be crucial for their success going forward?
There are three key things, Maya. First, they really need to nail the integration with the Odeon, so it feels like one smooth experience. Second, finding that balance between international appeal and local relevance is a must. And third, they can't lose sight of their roots. That born again spirit is what has kept them going strong for over 150 years.
I couldn't agree more. It's inspiring to see a brand that's not afraid to reinvent itself, but still honors where it came from. Any final thoughts for our listeners, Sylvan?
Just that, walking through La Rinascente, you feel both the history and the excitement of what's next. It's a masterclass in retail reinvention. If department stores can evolve like this, there's hope for everyone in retail.
Grazie mille, Sylvan. And thanks to all of you for joining us today. If you want to read more about La Rinascente, check out our full exclusive on Substack. And don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn at International Association of Department Stores. Until next time, this is the IADS Retail Park, where retail giants evolve or go extinct. Arrivederci.